All right. So this is the DAT load board here.
Okay.
So I guess I think it's like dat.com, and you're going to go to Trucker's Edge. This is one of my drivers login or whatever. So on the left hand side, this is all, private load, search trucks. You could also, if you're a driver and you want to post your truck, or you could post your driver's truck, right here.
Okay.
And this is you create the post. So you would go through all that, self-explanatory. Okay, so now what we want to do is search for loads. So basically, this is what it looks like. The origin right here is, what city. So my guy is in, where is he at? Irving, Texas. Okay. So right here, DH, that's deadhead.
Mm-hmm.
So when you are trying to find him a load from Irving, Texas, he might not want to drive more than 150 miles without it making any money. Okay.
Okay.
So say he wanted to go to Louisiana. That's good enough to drive to without, it's not so far away, right? Yeah. You know what?
Put in okay, go ahead. You put in one.
Okay.
That's gonna be more than 150 miles.
Okay,
though.
you said Shreveport.
Try and put in Shreveport. SHR. Yeah. That still might be more than 150, but it's closer, much closer than New Orleans.
Okay, cool. I don't know. That's just like in California, like, oh, you're going to San Francisco? Oh, no, that's like 6 hours away,
Mhm.
Okay, so yeah, something like that. But you get the idea, and we're recording this too. So okay, so say we found him something in Shreveport or whatever, and he's like, okay, and you ask the driver, is Shreveport okay? He's like, yeah, I'll go to Shreveport. That's fine. It might, like you said, it might be more, but at least he knows how to get there. As long as it's some money, they'll go as long as the money is right too. If it's more than 150 miles and the money is good, they'll go. And so that's another deadhead. But I don't know why that's up there. Backhaul or something. Okay, so he has a flatbed. But yeah, so we're looking for everything that's a flatbed.
Okay.
Okay, so you also want to ask the driver. Oh shit, I'm sorry. It's gonna be loud on here. My phone is loud. Oh shoot, hold on. Oh, goodness.
Okay.
Hey.
Hey, I'm about to come in. Do you want me to bring something
to eat? Yeah.
Like what?
It don't matter. You can choose.
All right.
Okay, bye. Well, I don't know why you just don't get it. Like, what are you asking me for?
Look, what do you want to eat?
Yeah, like, what the heck? No, guys are weird. Okay, the length. So his is 40. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That's important. Like when you ask them, I'll give you like a little list of what to ask them too. Okay, and then the weight, he can carry 198, 19860, something like that. So full or partial load, usually they want a full load, of course. That's more money or whatever. But I just put both right here. What is this? Look at hours. Okay, so today, April 6th. So good thing about that, it's going to show you, these things are like this was posted 26 minutes ago.
Mm-hmm.
And they just posted that 0 minute. So It'll pop up to the right over here. Okay. It's only been on here for 26 minutes. So Jewett, Texas to Shreveport. And you'll ask him also, like, oh, it's in, I know it's not in Irving, but it's in Jewett, and then he'll say yes or no, right? So then he gets, then you go on here, and this is nothing. You see the $769?
Yeah.
15-day average. It's like, what? So they didn't offer anything. So when you call them, you see this house has $769. You want to go like $200 more than that, like $969, or I would say $1,000. Like I'll call them up, and I'm like, it's called Ecogistics, okay? And you can check the credit on these people. It says 97's credit score, but if you check on it, you'll just see all this stuff on here. Also, it's good to go with the factoring company because it'll tell you a lot about these companies. I think he said before they go on here or whatever, or I don't know if it's old or what, but he said if it's green, it's good. If it's red, it's not. That's why it's really good to go through the factoring company. Before you even book the load, I would check the credit on them. Oh,
so Ecogistics, that's their factoring company?
No, this is the company of the broker. This is the
That's
broker.
the broker. Okay.
See, the broker's on here, the name over here, they posted this load. This Jewell,
okay.
Texas, Shreveport, Louisiana. And then they didn't put anything. Usually they'll have an offer here. Like they probably would have said $600. But you see right here on this 15-day average that the going rate is $769. That's the market rate.
Okay.
That they're offering for these loads right now. This is the company's MC number right here. You see where the mouse is at? You can check anything on the FMSCA with this MC number.
And so tell me, what does that 1 star mean?
Probably like a review. I don't know. Let's check. Just some reviews. You know how there's always some type of review.
Okay.
It says don't load with this company.
That's when I saw that 1 star. I'm like, what?
Woo! It says we booked a load with this company on a Friday. We told the dispatcher we needed quick pay. Full review. But it was 6 years ago, so I don't know.
Wow.
That's funny. They were probably new back then. Because what happens if they don't have any type of factoring companies, they usually they pay you, and it takes 30 days. It could take longer than 30 days, and people are used to getting paid right away now. So maybe they didn't have a factoring company back then. Who knows?
Oh, wow.
But its credit score said it's okay. But I would check them on that with your factoring company that you're using. Oh shoot, I'm sorry, I'm going in and out. Oh, so look up here. What the heck is this? Broker together. I'm on 123 load board. Another thing, some of these load boards are different. So you're like, what? I'll show you that one in a minute because I'm like, what? But anyway,
okay.
So this is, like I said, Ecologistics is a brokering company that you're going to call them. So when you call them, you're like, hey, there's the. I mean, this is so. One thing I do like about the trucking industry is not all extra professional. Like I don't have to call and be like, hi, my name is Tina, and I'm calling about a load. Nothing like that.
Yeah.
I just call them like, yeah, it's a load on. I'm on a dashboard, and there's a load on there going Jewell, Texas to Shreveport, Louisiana. And sometimes they might have a number somewhere down here. I don't see nothing. And how come I don't really like this one because I don't know why this thing is stuck all the way over here on the right. But anyway, I'll say, yeah, I see a load from Jewell, going from Jewell, Texas to Shreveport, Louisiana. And they'll say, oh, okay. It's going for $650, and you'll say, well, how about $969? Because they're going to try to go down. So when they go down, they might break even at $769.
Okay, gotcha.
Okay, but this is not a good load. They don't want to go for $769 unless it's just no. They're not. These rates are kind of low right now. Okay, so let's see what this one is over here.
So if you were to book that for $769,
where'd he go?
Then where does your rate come in?
Exactly. So if you're charging 8%, it'll be 8% from $769. So you're not making no money.
Okay.
So you're like, I'm not trying to that low. Look at this was even lower. Like what the hell? 440.
I see that.
Like these rates are okay. Here's the one that's a little bit higher, and that's still not like the best either. Because I was just talking to my guy today. He said he got a low. First, he said he wasn't going out of California, but I see he drove all the way to California from Texas for $4,000.
Oh, I bet he did.
Okay.
Now that's a 3-hour drive right there from Houston to Fort Worth.
Oh, right here. Okay.
Yeah, that's a 3-hour drive.
So then he's in Irving. So I think he's not that far from Houston because he always say he'll go to Houston.
Irving, he's not that far from Fort Worth right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he would have to drive to Houston first and then go to Fort Worth.
Yeah.
So this one says $1,193. So you say like $1,300 or $1,400 or something like that. When you call them, they'll try to lowball you because they think everybody doesn't know. So call them up and say, yeah, I'm on the board. I see it's a low Houston, Texas to Fort Worth. And they'll say, oh, it's going for $1,000, and then you'll tell them your price, and then he'll be like, oh, let me see if my shipper will work with. No, they ain't calling no damn shipper. They probably got it for like $2,000 or something because they're trying to get their cut too.
Yeah.
Everybody got
Tell me this. So being that, okay, like your person is in Irving, which is near Fort Worth. Now, if he takes that load from Houston to Fort Worth, would you try and get him something going to Houston right quick? You know what I'm saying? Leave.
You definitely can. Like, this is where you would find like a little, but that's you don't want. Yeah, you can. So say he got to pick it up, even though that's today. If it was on the 7th, but today's the 6th.
Mm-hmm. Unless
you see a small little load in Houston that he can pick up as well, yeah, that would work. That would work. He could pick that, but then you got to kind of think about the time too. So
the time frame.
Yeah, if it was like on the 7th, it would be good for him to do it. But if he was going to get it today, I wouldn't try to find him nothing going to Houston, because.
So would he be willing to drive 3 hours to pick up that load to bring back? I mean, with having nothing going.
Yeah. So how I don't know how far that is.
Like I said, it's about it's like 3.5 hours.
Oh yeah, they'll do that. They'll do that one. But if it's like 11 hours, no, they're not.
No, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, they'll do that. That's not bad for a truck driver. 3 hours, that's like 30 minutes. You know what I'm saying? So they'll do that. Yeah. So like I said, I would if this was on the 7th and you found him a load like that. Yeah. But today I wouldn't do that because he has to unload. They have to unload everything, and that's going to take time. You don't know if it's going to go over. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's what I was wondering. So like this one right here. So if you called and you asked for, let's say you asked for 1,300 and they agreed to 13. So then you let your driver know, you let your carrier know, hey, I got this load going from Houston to Fort Worth for 1,300. Would you tell them 13 or would you tell them like 1,100?
So you tell them 13 because they're going to get all the invoices. Remember, your carrier pays you.
And so, because the carrier already know you're getting 8% off the top,
right? Because you already have given him all of your documents.
Okay.
Okay, so this is the problem I'm running into right now. You got to figure out how you're going to do this. So I got a lot of carriers calling me, right? It was okay before, but I think with this gas stuff going on, boy, oh boy, I'm like, really? Everybody's taking a hit. So anyway, I was charging 8%, but I don't think they are willing to accept 8% right now.
Really?
So people are like, they're charging like 5%, and then between 5, 6, and 7%, right? So you have to figure out like, okay, I'll give you 5% for the first load if you work with me, and then after that it's either 6 or 7%.
So tell me, so the broker isn't working with them at all?
No, you work with you're the carrier's assistant.
I'm saying, so the broker isn't working with the dispatcher at all, trying to give them anything, not the carrier, but who were getting the loads from the shipper?
No, you're getting the load from the broker and
from the broker.
Yeah.
And so the broker is not trying to do anything as far as the loads are concerned. Like, I mean, whereas fuel is concerned.
Yeah, you can talk to them about the fuel, like a fuel surcharge where they pay for some of the fuel. That's why that's a good negotiation right there, is because of the fuel. They're trying to say, oh, it's only $1,000, and you'll say, well, what about my driver's gas?
Yeah.
And then they're like, oh, okay, I'll see if the shipper will pay for some of the fueling, and then the price goes up more.
Okay, gotcha.
Mm-hmm. And then let's see. Yeah, so that's a good negotiation tactic. It's real simple. It's like either yes or no. No, it ain't no. First, I was all intimidated, like, oh my god, how am I? But it's just like a few more, few more $100s, and then they go down, and then you just go from there. If the driver wants it, he might tell you, no, I don't want that load. You go on to the next one. So now, with all that being said, right? So now he's got to Fort Worth, Texas, right? So today's April the 6th. You did this 2 days ago.
Mm-hmm.
So you're like, okay, I know my guy. He gotta pick up something in Houston, and then I found him something on the way to Houston, right? So he's like, good. Now remember, you have to call a totally different broker. You could ask them if they have something. This is the perfect time when you're on the phone with them, like, okay, cool. My guy's going to be in Fort Worth, Texas. Do you have something coming out of Fort Worth, Texas once he gets down there on that day? And they'll tell you yes or no, not this time. You might have to call them back. So in the meantime, say they don't have nothing. So you got to get back up on here on the board, right? So he's picking all this stuff up on Friday. Say he's picking it up on Friday, right? So you got time to come on here again, and you're like, okay, got to do a new search now. So now I need a back call. That's what it's called. Fort Worth, Texas, back to Earth, because you want to get him back as close enough to his house as you can, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So on that same day, you're like, oh, cool, there's something in Crescent, Texas. See if he wants to go there, see how far it is from Fort Worth, or maybe Jewett is closer. You just got to run by which one, or look it up on Google it and say like, oh, okay, let me see which one is closer to Irving, Texas, or whatever. But obviously it must be Crescent because it came up first, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's only this one's no, that's low. See how low these are? Oh my goodness. What in the world?
See, I know I'm not familiar with Crescent, but I know Dallas, Grand Prairie, Fort Worth, Prosper. They're right in the same area. They are within less than 50 miles of each other.
Okay.
But I didn't know about Crescent.
Okay. See, this is a little bit. This one's a little bit higher. So this is in San Antonio, Texas. And you got to figure out how far that is from Irving, but he still might do it because of a little bit more money. And again, they're going to see that. See, now you see an offer up here. They're like, oh, they're going to offer. So when you call, this is what they're going to try to sell you on right here. And looking at this, how much it's going for. So you could say like 1,500. And they're like, oh, well, let me see what my shipper has to say about it. You thinking like, yeah, right. And they'll say, oh, how about 13? And you can say, oh, you run it by your driver. You always got to ask him whatever it is, how much it is. You guys have to ask them about it. Like, what about, is 13 good? And you're like, no, and then you go back and say, my driver's fuel and blah, 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 this and that. And you can still try to negotiate. But if he said, you go back, tell him, he's like, okay, I'll take the 13. So then you got him away back home. So that's called a back call.
Okay.
And also with the brokers, when they're sending you over the Raycon, you wanna know that how much they're paying if they're over the time limit, and you also want to know if they're going to pay if they don't pick up if they go out there and they didn't pick up a load, and you want to make
say it again.
Like, say they go down there and something happens and they drove all that time. And there's no load. You want to know that they're going to pay for that too. And you want to make sure that, because once everything is set in stone or whatever, and you send over your carrier's documents to the broker, after they get all your documents, they're going to send you the sheet called the Raycon, which has, all the pickup information, everything you discussed. And that's when in the comments section, it's going to have, like, you got to pay attention to comments, whatever you discuss with them in those comments, and make sure, ask them when you're on the phone, are you paying for Tono? Are you paying for this and that? Are you, everything that you talked about is in those comments. So there'll be no discrepancies. And everything you do with the broker, you email them. So there's a,
paper trail. Paper trail.
Paper trail.
What did you call it? Are you paying for Tono?
Tono.
And that's basically like when you get there and there's not a load?
One is when there's not a load, and if you're paying for dang, my mind's going. Oh, when it goes over.
When you say go over, what do you mean by that?
Like, they get there and they're supposed to pick it up because they got to go to the next place. So they get there at 5:00, but they're still out there 2 hours later.
So then they need to pay extra.
Exactly.
Okay.
So let's see. Correct term for the Tono. All up so you can see. Truck ordered, not used.
Okay.
Somebody said, what the heck is a Tono? Yeah. So that is that. Yeah, so that's some of that. And we are going to I hope yeah, so that is the load board, and we'll do it a couple of times. And I just